Hey folks, today we're diving into one of the greatest stories ever told in gaming, Red Dead Redemption 2. If you haven't played it yet, get ready, because this is more than just a game, it's an emotional journey spanning dozens of hours, where we follow Arthur Morgan, an outlaw living in the dying days of the Wild West. So, saddle up and let's ride back to 1899. The year is 1899, and America is changing. Outlaws like the Van der Linde gang are being hunted down as the government and law enforcement expand their reach. We step into the boots of Arthur Morgan, a veteran member of the gang and the right-hand man of their charismatic leader, Dutch Van der Linde. Dutch is a silver-tongued idealist who dreams of a free life beyond the law's grasp. Alongside them, we meet a cast of unforgettable characters: John Marston, a young gunslinger trying to escape the outlaw life; Sadie Adler, a widow-turned-ruthless warrior; Micah Bell, a two-faced troublemaker; Hosea Matthews, a con artist in Arthur's moral compass, and many more who make up one of the most memorable gangs in gaming history. The Van der Linde gang is on the run after a botched heist in Blackwater. They take refuge in the freezing mountains, exhausted and starving. Right away, we feel the desperation as Arthur and Dutch search for food and shelter. This is also where we rescue John Marston, who is barely clinging to life in the snowstorm. But even at this early stage, Dutch begins making questionable decisions. Escaping the cold, the gang moves to greener pastures, setting up camp and trying to survive. Here, we experience the true cowboy life: hunting, fishing, robbing, and helping out fellow gang members. But trouble soon follows when Arthur and Dutch cross paths with the O'Driscolls, a rival gang. The rivalry escalates into bloodshed, and Arthur starts to realize that the world is changing, while Dutch remains blind to reality. At this point, the gang gets tangled in a feud between two wealthy families, the Braithwaites and the Greys. Dutch and Hosea attempt to manipulate both sides for profit, but things spiral out of control. When the Braithwaites kidnap Jack, John Marston's son, the gang storms the Braithwaite mansion, burning everything to the ground. But just when they think they have the upper hand, they realize they were mere pawns in a much bigger game. The gang relocates to St. Denis, a bustling modern city where electric trolleys roam the streets and lawmen won't hesitate to shoot. Dutch still clings to his dream of pulling off one last big score to escape forever, but Arthur grows increasingly doubtful. A high-stakes bank robbery turns into a disaster. Hosea is hanged in the middle of the city. Dutch is no longer the man he once was, and Micah Bell's influence grows stronger. The gang relocates to St. Denis, a bustling modern city where electric trolleys roam the streets and lawmen won't hesitate to shoot. Dutch still clings to his dream of pulling off one last big score to escape forever, but Arthur grows increasingly doubtful. A high-stakes bank robbery turns into a disaster. Hosea is hanged in the middle of the city. Dutch is no longer the man he once was, and Micah Bell's influence grows stronger. After fleeing St. Denis, Arthur and several gang members are stranded on the distant island of Garma. They become entangled in a local rebellion against a corrupt governor. Though they eventually return to America, Arthur comes to a devastating realization: he has tuberculosis. And his time is running out. With his days numbered, Arthur tries to do what's right. He helps John Marston escape and works to protect the innocent from Dutch's madness. In the final showdown, Arthur confronts Micah Bell on a mountaintop. If he chooses the path of honor, he will collapse as he watches the sunrise one last time. If he chooses violence, he will die in a desperate struggle. No matter the choice, Arthur Morgan meets his end, carrying unfulfilled dreams and a heavy heart. After Arthur's death, we step into the shoes of John Marston, who is trying to build a new life with Abigail and Jack. But the past never truly lets go. In the end, John faces off against Micah Bell in a final duel, putting an end to the last remnants of the Van der Linde gang. Red Dead Redemption 2 isn't just a story about cowboys. It's a ballad about the fall of the Wild West, the redemption of Arthur Morgan, and the people trapped in the dreams of a bygone era. And you know what? No matter how many years pass, Arthur Morgan's story will always be remembered. Because he lived and died a legend.